Comfortable now. Get the hat straight.
I know. Let's have a look. Let's get in there. Let's go live. Let's check.
Are we live?
This is unusual day. This is it's been
I know.
a
What
while.
were the OG presenters?
It's let's check if
I can't get this hat comfortable.
Looks good, mate. Looks good.
Yeah, there we go. I'll go.
Brand
I'll
new.
go with it. It is brand new. Yeah.
Freshly
Freshly made in Nepal.
That's straight from Nepal, isn't it? Because let's have a look. We will. There we go. Great stuff. Live, and we'll wait for a few of the EverTrekkers to join us.
I tried to be first last week. I was in the airport, and I tried to be first on.
Okay.
Couldn't do it.
Wonder who's first on today. Let's have a little look then. If you are just tuning in and you want to drop in the comments, always good to see who is live. Whether it's Angus, because Angus always kind of gets in early.
Yeah.
Wondering who else is here.
Jimbo
Jim.
Blues.
Of course, it's Jim.
The man, the myth, the legend.
You caught up with Jim recently, right?
Yeah, at Keswick Mountain Festival.
Oh,
that was really good, really good.
Great stuff. It's the OG EverTrekker crew today.
Marky V.
You got Marky V and Jerome. And you got Andrew as well. Great stuff. Well, nice to see some familiar faces.
Marky V, Jerome, Andrew. What's this? 2020?
It feels
like we've gone back to 2021. We got the old school back.
And apologies that me and Dave haven't been in the same room together for such a long time.
Yeah.
Took some time off. Dave, you were in Nepal.
Went to Nepal.
So yeah, great. It's great to be back together.
No, 100%. Yeah. For me, it was Keswick into Nepal.
Yeah.
You had an important tea time, didn't you? That lasted a little while.
It lasted a couple of weeks.
Yeah. So that was good.
So it was very good.
Important though. Some much needed R&R.
Yes.
But no, great to be back. It was good to be back on the TTI. I think
it is
with the wingman.
I know, mate. It's been great. It's I hope all is well. I know there's been a lot of trips, especially kind of Nepal now. It's kind of coming to the end, and we've got a lot of people out in in Peru to Machu Picchu. Kili is on the horizon. We've got Tubcal trips. So yeah, it's a busy time.
Yeah.
But today we wanted to. So when we were discussing yesterday and today, we wanted to kind of talk about specific trips and make it a little bit fun. So it's going to be a little bit of engagement today because we've got our kind of we're talking about top 5 treks today, but I want to kind of give each one its own rating. So and I know we haven't really look yet. We want to actually score these, so we're going to go through our top 5, and then we've got a few different ways, like kind of like top trumps of we're going to go through as an example, just to give you a couple. We're going to go through the difficulty level of them. Popularity levels of them and bits like that, and we're going to go through some trips because obviously we've got a bunch of trips now, and we wanted to look at those trips that we currently offer in 2024, so it is kind of present of this year. So yeah, we're gonna do that, Dave.
Yeah, no, I'm excited for it. I think this is going to be a fun and interesting TTI. I've got extensive notes here.
I can see they're very extensive.
Do you know what I tried to do? I tried to come up with my sort of top trump score.
Okay.
And I thought, do you know what? I was thinking about it too much, and I think, do you know what?
Do it on the hop.
I've got to go.
Exactly.
I've got to go with emotion. You've got to say a word. It's going to go in the brain, trigger an emotion, and that'll give me the score.
Exactly. But no, it is great to be back, and yeah, I suppose we'll start with the treks. I mean, it'd be good. I hate it when we got top 5 because you kind of think, well, all the others are really good in their own right.
Yeah.
But we're going to have like an honourable mention section. So we'll start with the top 5, and then we'll talk about a few of the honourable mentions, and then we'll go through like that.
Yeah, sweet.
So if we're talking about top treks 2024, what would be number 5 for you?
Oh, number 5.
So I know I'm gonna start.
I was going to say number 1. I was thinking, so what the trek that I'm 5th most looking forward to?
I know.
Wow. Do you know what?
Or you can go for top 3 if you're struggling.
No, do you know what? I'll stick with number 5.
Mm-hmm.
So one thing I really, really want to do is I want to go back to Morocco, and I want to climb the neighboring peak.
Okay.
To Mount Tubcal.
Yeah.
The reason why that's number 5 is because I've already done Morocco 2.5 times.
Yeah. Okay.
But there's so much more to do in Morocco than Mount Tubcal.
Yeah.
And so I'm thinking what I'd really like to do is go back there.
Yeah.
do a couple of days exploring the other sort of routes and things like that, and then maybe get to the summit. I forget the name. I think it begins with
it's Uno Cream.
Yeah,
Uno Cream. I think that's the pronounce.
Yeah, so
I'm rubbish with pronunciations, but we got some 1, 2, and 3s already from Jim. We got EBC Langtang and Tubcal. There we go.
Yeah,
awesome.
Exactly. Yeah. So I think that'd be number 5 for me. So yeah, like I've been there before. There's
gonna be some debate here.
It's not a new region for me, but I do still love it. Anywhere, and by the way, I will say that these numbers are all relative. Anywhere that I choose to go
is
means
awesome.
that, like, the top 5 is in like my top. If you just zoom out, it's like it's way up here, you know. But yeah.
Okay, I've gone a little bit old school with mine.
Yeah. So what's your one?
So my 5th top trek of 2024 is Annapurna. And that's the Annapurna circuit.
The Annapurna circuit.
And I know we got some EverTrekkers on here who have been on that. So, and I know it does deserve to be higher, and that could potentially make the top 3. Because I'm thinking, if we've got the top 5 treks of 2024 worldwide, I think Annapurna needs to be in the top 5. Even if like you're talking National Geographic got this and they were like, well, what's our top 10? Well, so let's narrow it down to 5. I think Annapurna doesn't get the kind of kudos the kind of Everest Base Camp gets. No, and we'll talk about Everest Base Camp because that ranks very high on my list for many reasons. But Annapurna, I think, needs to be in there.
No, I agree. I mean, I think it's probably like one of it's top 5 most important trekking destinations in the world.
Yes,
I would say. And these are our personal choices, and I am very interested to hear more top 3s from you guys.
Yeah.
So let me know exactly what's going on. But yeah, no, Annapurna, amazing. I think Annapurna is like, it's like the really good-looking sister to its more famous sister. Do you know what I mean? It's like so Everest, she's the most famous, has the most magnetism. People are drawn to Everest.
Yeah.
But actually, if you just sort of look slightly outside of Everest shadow, you'll see this stunning region of the world.
Yeah.
Which is a little bit quieter, doesn't quite have the same magnetism, but actually, if you give it its due, it'll blow your mind every bit as much as Mount Everest.
It's interesting, actually. Jerome has put Annapurna as number 1. Wow, good choice. You should go there, Jerome. Definitely. But it's really interesting, and just to give, we wanted to give Annapurna a little bit of airtime today because it is, we get a lot of EverTrekkers who go there and they do love it. Marky V, I know you've done obviously the Annapurna circuit with us, and absolutely fantastic trip in its own right. Definitely a toughie. And we'll come on to the kind of gauges in a sec because Andrew Scott's gone for EBC number 1, and he's got Langtang, Go Secunda, you got ABC, so you got Annapurna Base Camp, Gokuri, Mardi Himal. Some classics there, Andrew.
Classics.
Definitely. And some ones that hopefully we'll want to do in the future.
Yeah. So
Annapurna then, that's 5th. So number 4.
Number 4 for me, I think, will be probably Machu Picchu via the Hidden Valley, Tomokaea route.
Okay, the Hidden Valley route. Nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
The reason why, I mean, it's not a region I've not visited. Machu Picchu. I know you've been by the Tomokaea route.
Yeah.
What I love about the Tomokaea route, Seek, is for me, Machu Picchu, and I don't know if a lot of people feel this way, but I never really thought of Machu Picchu itself as like a trekking destination. I saw it more as like going to Chichen Itza in Mexico, or it's like somewhere you can bus or train to, and you have this amazing idea of this ancient civilization, and you can experience that. But actually, does that necessarily mean that I want to trek the Inca Trail? And there is obviously that's steeped in history itself. But for me, trekking has always been about the lesser known trails, the quieter areas. As much as I possibly can, I want to get out there in nature. So for me, the Tomokaea route, the Hidden Valley, Machu Picchu trip ticks both of those boxes. I get to see Machu Picchu. I get a little bit of the Inca Trail. I get a full taste of Machu Picchu and that ancient civilization. I can immerse myself in that. But I also get to go over some high passes and some remote regions, spend some time with the locals, talking and learning from them. That's why that's
that's interesting. So I got that number 2.
You got number 2?
I got number 2, Machu Picchu. And you know what? I should have maybe been a bit more specific because I wanted to use it as more of maybe I'm cheating a bit by going for the destination rather than the actual routes, because I think that any trek to Machu Picchu is pretty cool.
Yeah.
You know, especially because even though like the Inca Trail is the famous one, they're all Inca trails. The Incans used all the trails. It's just they kind of narrowed it down so they can, it's a bit easier to say, okay, this is the Inca Trail, but they're all Inca trails.
Well, exactly. The entire region was populated by Incans.
Exactly.
They, it's just they've decided on that's the main
one
thoroughfare
that we're gonna sell tickets for.
But exactly. But you know what? I struggled with Machu Picchu. I nearly put it higher on my list. The reason why is because it's yet to be ticked off my bucket list.
Yeah.
So it should feature really high, but I can't. The heart wants what the heart wants.
I can imagine. Yes. So okay. So we little bit of maybe number 4. My number 4 was Kili.
Kilimanjaro.
And I know again, and I love Tanzania. I love Kili. Absolutely fantastic trip. And again, it could be higher up. It's hard because you want to say that all these trips, when you're doing them, should be number 1, right? They feel like number 1 because when you come back, you're like, oh, that was awesome. But I'm gonna go. I still think like as a trekking destination, Machu Picchu is definitely higher for me rather than Kili. Then again, if you're a summit seeker, Kili should be higher up. But I got Kili at number 4.
Yeah, no, it's a good choice. I think having Kili. I mean, I'll be honest, I'm not 100% certain because I am gonna change as I feel. But I don't think Kili made my top 5.
Oh, really?
But you know what's strange? Before
honorable mention
for me. Should I do my first honorable mention?
Go for it. Yeah.
Okay, I think my first honorable mention for me would be Kilimanjaro.
Okay.
Here's why. If I hadn't already summited it, it'd probably be number 1.
Right. So it's one of those that you want to do, and then there's okay.
Exactly.
Nice.
So I really wanted to do it, and before I summited, I was obsessed with Kilimanjaro. It's the highest mountain in Africa, highest freestanding mountain in the world, one of the 7 summits. You get to spend time in Tanzania. You get to go on safari. There's so many things that make that trip epic. But then I achieved it, and I did all those things. Yeah. And now I think to myself, does the draw to go back and bag a 2nd or a 3rd Kili summit, although I would love to do it. Yeah. If I'm being strict on my 5, it wouldn't have gone in there.
Yeah, that's really interesting. And I suppose that's what it is like, isn't it? Once you've done something, because a lot of these treks are journeys, and some of them are, journeys like Everest Base Camp, Annapurna Circuit, even going into Machu Picchu and the treks there, they're journeys. But Kili is all about the summit night.
Kili's about the summit night. For me, it's doing Kili feels different to other trips. And I think some peaks, not all peaks. I might do a different on this. Like what differentiates some peaks from others for me, because they are different in my mind. Kili for me is like signing up to do a marathon. It's about crossing the finish line, getting the medal, bagging the achievement. Other peaks and suffering. Other peaks are not all about crossing that line because they encompass so much more. I just want to say, give a shout out to Daza. Spent some time with Darren in Nepal. We went
really?
Yeah, went back to Nepal together. Yeah.
Oh, wicked. Hey, Darren, I hope all is well.
Yeah.
Oh, wicked. So you're part of the last group to EBC.
Last group to EBC was sort of on the last chopper at Saigon. So. Also,
brilliant.
Are we on a number now? What did you just do?
Well, I've done 5 and 4.
So I've done. What was my 4?
Yours was
Machu Picchu, Atomic Chair. So number 3 for me.
Yeah.
And this I would have to probably put in the. I'm wondering what because we had these. I think it would be Yeti rating for me, because this is something that I really want to do, and that would be the new trip that we've launched in Uganda.
Oh, really? That makes this 3. Nice.
That made 3.
Yeah.
And
the gorilla and
it's because of the gorillas.
Trip,
It's because of the gorillas. Yeah. I absolutely. One of my favorite things about travel is the wildlife. If you're lucky enough to go to a region where you can have these amazing experiences and you can see an animal in its natural habitat that you would never have seen before, and combine that with a bit of high altitude trekking, then to me,
it's pretty cool.
That's tick. I love it. The reason why it's number 3 and not number 1 is because, if I'm honest with myself, a large part of why I want to go there is purely to see the gorillas.
So not to do the trekking.
Not necessarily to do with the trekking, or I have a funny feeling that I would, I bag a summit, I do some amazing trekking, but the lasting memory that'll stay in the heart for me would be the gorilla.
Gorilla Thriller. That's pretty good, actually, Jerome. That's pretty good.
We might,
good,
we might,
good
have, to, we
naming
might
there.
have to use that.
It's interesting, isn't it? Because there are, and it's almost like what makes your list. Because is it ones you've done? Is it ones you want to do? Because there's so many different lists, right? I mean, let's be honest. If they're on a list, it's going to be go and do it.
Well, yeah,
got to do these things.
Exactly, yeah, and yeah, that's number 3 for me. And I think
Okay.
the reason why it's not, if it was all about the trekking,
Yeah.
it'd have probably been number 1. But deep down in my heart, I know that the reason I'm going there
It's all about the animals.
is to see the gorillas.
All right then, cool. My number 3. It's not kind of as exotic as yours. Mine's closer to home, but in my opinion, just as awesome a trip, which is the Tour de Mont Blanc.
Yeah,
I think it had to make my top 3.
Has to feature highly.
I think, even though we, obviously we started in the Himalayas, and we do a lot in other big mountain areas like the Andes. The Karakoram, there's these epic places. The Alps is very underestimated.
Oh, do you know what?
Very underestimated, in my mind. And it's because it's a massive circular route, it's over like a week or so of trekking. For me, like, it has to be in the top 3 treks in the world.
I'd agree with you. I think as well, for some reason, it is crazy how underestimated it is, because we've spent some time high in the Alps, circa 3,000 meters, quite a lot. Often with like skis on our feet, but you're in the same, you're in the main,
same area.
You're in the range, and every single time I'm there, I'm blown away.
It's cool, isn't it? Yeah.
By the mountainscape, the views that you have.
Yeah.
I think if we're talking about view rating, I think that'd be a 10 for me.
It'd be a high one. Definitely.
It's definitely there.
Yeah, it's definitely, it had to make my top 3. Not just because we offer it as a trip, but I think it's generally. Obviously we do the Everest Base Camps, the Machu Picchu's, the Achilles, which are amazing trips. But certainly in Europe, it's the biggie. Yeah, and so glad we get EverTrekkers on there now.
8 billion people on the planet would agree with you, because I think it is like one of the most popular treks in the world.
Yeah,
probably is. I'm not sure exactly. I remember seeing a list of most popular trekking destinations, and TMB, if it's not number 1, it was number 2.
It was on there. I read an article from National Geographic. They did the 10. And Machu Picchu was actually number 1 on the list.
Yeah.
TMB was number 3.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Everest Base Camp was 5.
Amazing.
It's mad, isn't it? But I think because we, our soul started in Nepal, on the way to Everest Base Camp, where we started, I think it's why it always ranks so high in my list.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter how many times I do it. And I know there's more remote trips. I know there's other areas you can go, but for what it means, well, to me personally, but I mean, and certainly to EverTrek, but to a lot of EverTrekkers as well, because a lot of people get to go there. Nearly all our EverTrekkers go there. Yeah. Which is awesome.
No, I agree with you. I think that's amazing.
Segueing on then. So number 3, it's got some strong ones here, haven't we? I'm going to nab a honourable mention.
Shoot.
Which I wanted to talk about, because actually you said Toubkal. Toubkal's in my honourable mention. Didn't make top 5.
Interesting.
It's mad, isn't it?
Interesting.
But because not that it's not a great trip. It's fantastic. I love it that you can go 3 hours from here. It's like walking into another world culturally. It's fantastic. The people are amazing.
Do you know what? That is the one thing about travel that I do love, is sometimes you think that you have to go on a 15-hour flight to get to an exotic destination. Yeah. Where, Africa being the continent that it is, it's not too far away, depending on where you'd like to go. Exactly. But it's mind-blowing. Yeah. To think that we could literally go in a car now, catch a flight, and by this evening be having food on a rooftop bar in the souks of Marrakesh.
In Dardas.
Highly
recommend Dardas, by the way. Ever in Marrakesh? Fantastic. Yeah. You've got to pre-book. Definitely. So that made my honourable mention, as did K2.
Interesting.
Didn't make my top 5. Yeah. And again, someone's like, why not? It's absolutely amazing. But K2 Base Camp, because, one of our ratings is difficulty. And it'd be up there from a Trek's perspective. I'd say, easily a 9 out of 10 difficulty rating for a Trek. Just because it's remote, it's long, it's arduous, there's not much infrastructure there. Yeah. The weather can be atrocious, but K2 Base Camp should be on everyone's list.
No, 100%. Actually, in my honourables.
Okay, nice.
And
nice.
Yeah, for all the same reasons as well. I think that any trek that offers the views in the Karakoram are unlike anywhere else on the planet.
Yeah.
I mean, you see if any of you guys, and I'm sure lots of you have been to the Everest region of Nepal, and you've seen the Himalayas in Nepal. They're these big, broad ranges. What makes Pakistan and the Karakoram so fascinating is that they're just these towers that seem to go from your feet straight up. And yeah, I agree with you. Actually, K2's in mine.
Awesome. Let's move up. We're moving up the scale here. So we got number 3. Number 2, I've already talked about. Mine was Machu Picchu. What was yours?
So my number 2 is, and I'm going to go a bit peaky.
Okay, Peaky Blinders.
And I'll be honest, I was really torn between 2.
Yeah.
One of them would have perhaps been, I mean, it's a legend. It's Mera.
Okay, nice.
The other one was Aconcagua.
See, that's
which would have been difficulty epic.
Yeah.
Now, I'm really struggling to know which one to put in, because both of these are on my bucket list.
Yeah.
And I tell you what I'm going to do, because number 1 is going to be another Nepal trip. I'm going to give number 2 to Aconcagua.
Okay.
And it's a big bucket list of mine. We were supposed to have gone.
Yeah.
But
back in January, right?
Yeah, back in January. But one thing led to another, and yeah,
we're slightly busy.
Slightly busy. It's more important for us to be here than there. Yeah. But I think that mountain being what it is, like whenever I talk to customers about it, and they're saying like, "Oh, I think I might want to do Aconcagua," the first thing I start doing is like I launch into this involuntary sales, but it's because I love it. It's like it's the highest mountain outside the Himalaya. It's annoyingly close to 7,000 meters. Bring a ladder so you can tag 7,000.
Bring a ladder, brilliant.
It's training. It's a training ground for Mount Everest.
Yeah,
it's where climbers go to gain an experience of multi-camp ascents, acclimatizations, sorties and things like that. Our trip as well, I think, is especially interesting because we do a lot of other neighboring peaks in the region as well. Yeah. So essentially, it's like you'll summit like a few high 5,000 and 6,000 meter peaks before you even get to Aconcagua. So, and I feel like Kili's one of the 7, Aconcagua's one of the 7. But if I'm chatting to a mountaineer in a bar and he says, "If you climb Kili," you'll go, "Oh yeah." But if I say, but if you say, "I've summited Aconcagua," he'll go like, "Really? How'd you find it?" I feel,
is that what it is?
It's
respect thing.
I feel like it's on a level where it really does give you like you get the knowing nod from people.
Yeah, it's got the respect thing, isn't it? I think because it's challenging as well. Like we had our expedition in January, and we had 5 EverTrekkers on it, and 3 of our team summited, and it just goes to show like. It's a challenge, and it doesn't always go your way, like any summit. We were chatting on the Summit Zone the other day, and chatting to Rich, who didn't make Kili Summit, but had an awesome trip, and now wants to go back and take it on. And then Andy, who's going on his 3rd time to Kili, he has summited before, and he's got his daughter who didn't summit on her trip, so he's going back again to then get the summit. And sometimes, it's one of those that you kind of. It has that status, but that's why it would be on my. It's on my honorable mentions.
Yeah.
It should be higher on the list. I know I think Stuart Taylor's mentioned Aconcagua as number 1.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's certainly absolutely deservedly on the list.
Yeah, and these are subjective. I mean, I wish I could. If I could have had like 5 number 1s. That's really that's really what I'm deciding on here.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think that when you've got top 5, you've got to be ruthless.
You've got to be ruthless, haven't you?
And half of me before we came on this live was thinking, what do the EverTrekkers want to hear? And then I thought, you know what, I can't anticipate just seeing these top 3s here how different they are.
I know.
So I've listened to this fella, and I've gone with what's there.
Okay, well, talk about the heart then. And actually, quite different lists.
Very different.
But I feel like number 1's going to be similar. Just put it out there.
Yeah, I can tell you, they're not the same.
Oh, really?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay. Interesting.
Interesting.
I am surprised.
Yeah.
So, what do you think mine is then?
I think yours is Chomolungma Base Camp.
It is. It is, yeah. So number 1 for me would be top 5 treks in 2024, and it'd probably be in my top top over the last several years is Everest Base Camp. Yeah,
Mhm.
without a doubt. And I know it's obviously popular. It's well known. It's the history, but I think for the meaning it has to me, it probably adds a little bit of weight on there.
Yeah, 100%.
Because we do have one of our ratings, and we'll go through each one again.
Yeah,
Through it because it's Yeti rating, and I think as a Yeti, it's certainly obviously it's the Himalayas. You know, it's where we live, right? It has to be up there, and Everest Base Camp is just it's a special one. It's finding
that trek changed my life.
Definitely.
You know, they'll you know, it's like you'll only ever have one first love. You know, when you're you know, when you're 100 years old, though, when you're looking back on your life, you may have many wives, many girlfriends, many boyfriends, but you'll only have one first love. There'll be one person you loved first.
Okay.
And for me, if I'm thinking,
trying to think of mine, then
if I'm thinking about the mountains, it'll be Everest Base Camp for me.
Nice.
I could summit Everest.
Yeah.
But going to base camp for the first time in 2016 will mean more to me in the long run because of what it did for my life. But it's not my number one.
Oh, okay. Go on then.
My number one for me, which is treks, and I was thinking like, okay, where's my heart pulling me in 2025? Langtang.
Oh, you know what? It was on my honourable mentions.
Yeah.
And it's sad, isn't it? Because Langtang shouldn't be an honourable mention thing. It's an amazing trek in its own right, and I know we got plenty of EverTrekkers now going on there, booked on there, who want to go on there. Yeah. And it's good that it's bouncing back after the big earthquake.
100%. So Langtang is on my list because I think no one can watch that documentary on Netflix, Aftershocks, and fail to be moved by the utter devastation that happened to the village. I mean, it was wiped off the map. Yeah, it looked like a nuclear weapon had just flattened it. It
surreal, isn't it?
Surreal. Yeah. But they've managed to rebuild, regroup. It's a testament to the Nepalese people and their you know, their tenacity for life that they can just rebuild after that. But also it's an amazing region of the world, you know. It's like and it's so different, and I think you don't have to fly to Lukla. There's no risk of like delays.
It's close to Kathmandu.
It's close to Kathmandu. Closest to Kathmandu. You know, so you can drive there, do an amazing 11-day, you know, 9-10 days trekking, come back, and still have a few more days to sort of relax around Kathmandu. I think
that's a big surprise.
I think Langtang is going to be number one, and it's purely because I think to myself, like, if I was going to go to Nepal tomorrow, and it was like, Dave, what trip do you want to do?
So
I probably would have done Langtang.
Hopefully, we do it in the autumn.
Yeah, 100%.
Get out there, definitely. It's some great ones on the list, and I know some people have added their own lists. You know, what makes your top 5? It'd be interesting to see all the other EverTrekkers on here. You know, what makes your list? Yeah. These could be ones you've done, could be ones you want to do, could be big for you this year. Doesn't have to be any of the ones on the list. We're open to suggestions. I mean, I've got a couple on my list. There was one called the Hout route, which is across Switzerland and everything. And obviously, we don't do it at the moment, hopefully in the future. But for me, that's also one of the big ones. It's on my list. I'd love to do that.
Yeah, no, 100%.
Like 11 days through the Alps. Fantastic.
You're loving Europe at the minute, and you're missing Europe.
Yeah, everywhere. Anywhere you go, anywhere you trek is absolutely fantastic, whether it's Everest Base Camp, whether it's TMB, whether it's South America, Tupacal, wherever you're going is going to be awesome. But yeah, it'd be interesting to see the rest of the people on the live today. You know, what makes your list? Yeah, definitely. Maybe it's one you want to do.
Honorable mention for me, I think, would have been as well the Gran Paradiso National Park.
Okay, yeah, nice.
So Mount Gran Paradiso. Yeah. Purely because we went there. It was last year, now, wasn't it?
It was this time last year, yeah.
Wow, that's insane.
It flies by.
Yeah, this time last year we went there and had an absolutely amazing time just scoping out the area, looking at the refugios, meeting some of the team, and seeing what the people that go out there to summit will be going through. And I don't know what it is, but I've never had a bad trip to Italy.
No, I love Italian people. Their passion.
Yeah,
I love a bit of passion like that. Absolutely legends. So yeah, that's the list. I think talking about then, if we're going to rate them, I know we got different ones, but let's talk EBC then.
Yeah.
Let's put difficulty 1 to 10.
For me, I would say 5.
5, really? Okay. Yeah, I'd probably do 5 or 6.
5 or 6. Yeah, I think it's so subjective depending on who you are and what you're doing. But I would say, you know, if sort of K2 base camp.
Yeah.
Is a 10.
Yeah.
You know, I would say EBC 5-6.
Okay. Difficulty, popularity.
10. Well, no, I would say 9 actually, compared to some, you know, I don't 8 or 9 actually, because it's a bit misleading, because people go there and they see, you know, the crowds on Everest and stuff like that, and they associate that with the trekking.
Exactly.
And
it's very different.
And actually, I would say 8.
Okay. Legend status.
I mean,
it's
11.
It's pretty high. Scenery score.
I would say 10.
10. And Yeti rating.
11.
So it's pretty damn high, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
All right then. I'll tell you what. Just in terms of time, we'll do a couple more.
We'll do a couple more ones. So
instead of going through all of them,
I'll go through.
Then we'll answer some questions, because we know we got some questions coming in already. Any questions as well, guys, on anything at all? Obviously, we are here about any of these trips. Do let us know.
Yeah. All right. I'll go for you then. Like Aconcagua, difficulty rating.
Yeah, that's a 10.
Yeah.
For me, I know it's more of an ascent rather than a trek, but it's still classed as a trekking peak.
Yeah.
Because a lot of it is trekking. You know, you obviously got a couple of summit days in there. You know, so I'd say, difficulty level, definitely. Yeah.
Popularity.
It's quite low. I'd say like 1, 2. Not many people do. I'd say maybe a little bit higher for EverTrekkers potentially.
Yeah, I'd be inclined to agree with you, because although, you know, if you go there, you'll see you'll certainly see
people
trekkers there, but actually, relatively speaking, when you look at the numbers that get drawn to say Kilimanjaro, which is one of the other 7, I would agree with you. Yeah.
Okay.
I would say what's next?
Legend
status.
I'd say legendary in mountaineering, but if you think of it as legend, like well known, I'd probably put it more like a 5.
Yeah, I think I'd agree with you. I think it's one of those, if you know, you know.
Yeah.
But Everest, it doesn't matter. It's part of your DNA.
Exactly.
Everyone knows Everest. But I would say I would agree. And Yeti rating?
I'd say it has to be pretty up there, like an 8 or a 9.
Yeah.
I'd say just because it's of what it is, it's a biggie, it's a challenge. Yeah. That's why.
Yeah, no, I'd agree with you. I think it has to be high because of what it is. Anyone that summited Aconcagua, if you told them Yeti rating was like a 3,
I know they'd be like, what?
You'd be furious.
Scenery score of Aconcagua.
Do you know what? Like, on the mountain itself, it'd score low.
Yeah. Well, because of all the bad weather.
Because all the bad weather it gets and stuff like that. But actually, if you're looking at the Velocitos range and Argentina itself, and you know, if you factor in like Mendoza and stuff like that, then I would say it scores high 7.
Nice. So, I'm going to move on to my number 2 is Machu Picchu.
Yeah.
I know it. Where was yours again? 4 or 5?
Mine was 5.
5, wasn't it? Yeah. So I would definitely go.
No, it wasn't. It was 4.
4. Difficulty rating, I'd say a 4.
Yeah.
Machu Picchu. I think even though you're going to significant altitude, you know, Machu Picchu itself is only, you know, not far off 2,000 meters. It's not I would say a hard trip. Not that any trek is easy.
Yeah.
At altitude, but it's certainly in our list here. I'd say it's about 4.
Yeah, I would say So considering the amount of people that actually get there successfully, and there's not a huge amount of sharp. It's not like Kili, you know, where you can go up like 1,000 odd meters and have to hang around there for a bit.
Different. Legend status.
I mean, that's a 10 straight away.
It's got to be, isn't it?
It's got to be a 10. It's you know, it's one of the most popular trekking destinations in the world.
Yeah.
I mean, if you ask people, you know, it wouldn't be a pointless answer.
No.
And if you had to, you know, if Pointless were doing it and they said, name some popular trekking destinations, you know, that would probably score like 99 on Pointless. So I would say, it's really popular.
Tick him off. Hi guys, from Leo. Hey Leo, hope all is well. I'm just you're in low Earth orbit. Jerome is on it today. Yes, popularity certainly up there. 10.
I'd say 10.
I think it's very popular, especially 100%. With a permit. It's quite limited.
Yeah,
definitely if you go into Machu Picchu, book early. So it does get popular.
Yeah.
Yeti rating for it.
I think quite high. Yeah, I mean, for me, Machu Picchu, my personal Yeti rating, I would say it's 7 to 8.
Yeah, I could live with that. I think if you compare it to the others,
I mean, 1 is amazing. Right, let's just set this up. 1 is amazing.
Yeah.
10 is like mind blowing, once in a lifetime, change your world,
definitely
come back a new person. Oh yeah, I think 7, 8 is pretty good.
Nice. Sorry, I am finding some.
Do you know?
I know you know what I'm like with the
cheeky
typing.
spot of Googling then.
I wasn't Google Yeti rated. It was something else. Off the back of it, and I think who was it? I think it was Jerome actually brought something up, which obviously we haven't been on the live. We've done some social posts. So sorry, change of gears here slightly. Especially as one of the other guys, Lambabu, was here as well. Great to see you, mate. Hope all is well. Namaste. I'll see you around Nawang. And that was sadly a couple of weeks ago now. One of our very experienced and mountain guides who's worked with us for a number of years now, who was working on Everest, guiding a kind of private client with a separate company. Yeah, unfortunately went missing. A couple of weeks ago. So yeah, we did a little bit of fundraiser for his family, and amazing response.
Yeah, no, it's amazing.
Amazing response.
So yeah, it's over £2,000 now raised for his family. I think we're going to hopefully hit this target of 2,500.
Yeah.
So I think Jodie's going to post the link to the Just Giving. It would be amazing, if you could share any of your hard-earned money to support his family. Nawang supported so many EverTrekkers to fulfill so many dreams.
Yeah.
We want to do our best by his family and his 2 daughters. If you haven't got a penny to share, can you share the post? And if you've got more than a few pennies to share, then donate more than once, because Nawang was a legend. He was an amazing climber. One of the best mountaineers that I'd ever met, and really, really sad to sort of lose him from the EverTrekker community. During I was in Nepal a week ago, and it was during that time. It was very heart wrenching, and you wish you could do more, but actually in the face of Mount Everest, where us mere mortals can do very little, but what we can do is do our best by his wife and his family, and hopefully try and make their lives a little bit easier in this aftermath. So guys, thank you, and by the way, we raised over £2,000,
which is amazing.
Amazing. So every single one of you, whether you have shared or donated or spread the word or whatever you've done, you've made a significant impact on someone who really deserves it. So
it was really hard learning about it. I mean, inherently the mountains are dangerous, and when you're working in the environment long enough, we always talk about managed danger and unmanaged danger, and it's always sad when something like this happens. We certainly don't want to normalize this kind of thing, because unfortunately Everest, especially in terms of summiting and climbing, unfortunately far too many people pass away go missing on the mountain. So we're hoping that Nepal can do something about certainly the structures that happen when it comes to summiting. Obviously the trekking industry is very, very different to the climbing industry, so we're more involved in the trekking to Everest Base Camp and that kind of stuff, but obviously a lot of our guys have already summited Everest multiple times. It's part and parcel of being a guide. It's very unlucky really that it kind of happened that way.
That's the thing. I mean, I was chatting to so many people about it, and you think, there are dangerous industries out there. Like you can be a race car driver, you can be a rock climber, you look at, but
on a trekking company,
you could, but and Everest is one of those dangerous things. But the Nepalese people, without them, Everest would remain unclimbed. It's the Nepalese people and the guides, the Sherpas, even the porters, the people that set up the camp, the pilots that rescue people. There's a world going on beyond your doorstep in there, where these people sort of put their lives on the line to make our dreams a reality. So it's very sad for Nawang and his client. In my mind, I think Nawang's a hero. For what he did on that climb, and what he was aiming to do. And RIP Nawang and his the client.
Exactly. Because I know his client also is from Kenya, wasn't it? He passed away. They found him on the mountain. But anyway, we just wanted to put that out there, and thanks to everyone that's donated. Geez, massively surpassed really what our original target was. Obviously, we trying to get as much as we can for Nawang's family and his daughters, because it'll all help. certainly going forward, which is amazing. And every penny is going to go directly to the family as well, which is amazing. Kind of switching gears a bit, guys. Tomorrow actually is our first, and I want to just give a little shout out really, because we're doing a little bit of a it's kind of weird, bit of a roadshow where myself and Dave have teamed up with Ellis Brigham, which is absolutely fantastic, which is great, and one of our partners. And by doing this, we've created something called Knowledge Nights, and we're going to be doing some talks in 3 stores actually. Tomorrow night is in Bristol, so Ellis Brigham in Bristol. Then the week after, I think we're in Manchester or Kensington. And then the week after, we're in Manchester or Kensington. It was 3 weeks.
So if you get to Kensington and we're not there, you get to Houston and get to Manchester.
No, I've there we go. The link is there. Just if anyone wanted to do it, it is. They have charged for this, which is pretty cool. But as always with these events, do free. You get lots of people drop out, so it is a £5 to come and join these nights. Yeah, basically,
well worth it to see us talk.
Why not? But no, it's going to be really good. We're talking about kit. Obviously, we're in Ellis Brigham store. We're going to be talking about kit, but we're also talking about Kilimanjaro specifically. Yeah. And talking about what it takes to climb Kilimanjaro. We'll also be going through the video as well. We'll be doing like Q&A. So yeah, if any of you guys, that I've put the link there. It's got the specific dates. Obviously, tomorrow's in Bristol. Is an evening thing, so I think it's from 6:30 each evening. I know that Manchester and Kensington are almost sold out. There is space in Bristol tomorrow, so if anyone does fancy coming and seeing us, definitely get in there, and we'd love to see you. Obviously, we've got a lot of non-EverTrekkers at the event because Ellis Brigham have kind of pushed this. We haven't. It's been kind of it's their event, and they've asked us to do this, which is amazing. But I thought, obviously, it's coming up now. We throw out some EverTrekkers as well. So yeah, if you are there. Fantastic. We'd love to see you.
Awesome. And just want to say thank you, Leo. He's donated.
Oh, thanks very much, mate.
Yeah.
That's amazing. Thanks very much, Leo. Also as well, just something else currently in June. We're doing a couple of different things. So we call it Epic June. We're trying to make summer now, isn't it? It was great the other day. I had sun in Wales. Unbelievable.
I nearly fell off my chair when I looked out the window, unbelievable.
But to do that, we've got a couple of offers actually at the moment, and we call it Epic June. So I'll put the link in here. Wrong link. I will put the link. I will get there, I promise. So basically we've got, if you do book a trip in June, there are a couple of different offers. Now, if you go in on, if you want to go before the end of this year, so in 2024, that's very true, actually, Bri. Exactly, you don't need to come. But no, it'd be just good to see you. But Epic June. So basically, you get if you book a trip in 2024 to go in 2024, you can get £200 off trips, and these are for our trips to Everest Base Camp, so any route, and also Kili. And also, if you book in June, you get free access to the Summit Zone, which I know we've talked about a lot. Anyway, details all in the offer. Just wanted to give it a little bit of a shout, which is amazing.
Awesome.
Nice. Well, look, I know we've been talking a lot, and thanks so much for all of your comments and lists as well around the top 5 treks. But we haven't answered any questions.
We haven't actually,
which is unusual this far into a Tuesday tune-in.
Should we have a look and see what see what's come up?
Yeah, we've got. I know we had some emailed in as well, but any questions, guys, throw into the comments. Always great to. I've already answered Bri-Bri's. Why pay a £5? Yeah. You can see us for free. Exactly.
Awesome. So I'll answer this one from Ruth Appleton.
Okay.
She's gone in, I think she's got 3 in so far, so that's pretty good.
Oh, nice.
On the Everest Base Camp trek, September 2025, so there's time yet. However, 1, you have a sciatic problem at the moment, which is causing discomfort when walking. 2, I am nervous of flying to Kathmandu, having heard some scary stories. 3, equally nervous of altitude sickness. So, Ruth.
Pep talk, eh?
Totally normal, yeah.
Appreciate a pep talk she's on.
1 with the sciatic, I guess that's something that you're going to have to sort of take care of and manage.
Yeah.
I know there are lots of like physiotherapists and people that can help with that type of thing. You've got till September 2025, so I would start looking into what sort of physiotherapy and stretches and work you can do to kind of limit the discomfort. I'm not an expert or a doctor, despite what many people assume about me.
Glasses.
Nervous of flying to Kathmandu. Honestly, I wouldn't be nervous about flying to Kathmandu at all. That is just the same as flying anywhere else. Lukla, on the other hand, is quite scary. But there's nothing to be worried about, honestly. I've recently just flown to Kathmandu, and I have flown to Lukla and back again.
You were there last week?
Yeah, last week, yeah. And I can tell you that it's, Lukla has that reputation and things like that.
Yeah.
That's largely, because of where it is. But honestly, you're going to be absolutely fine. Don't worry about it. Even if you are nervous, grit your teeth, 25 minutes, half an hour, and you're going to have the best experience of your life.
Yeah.
Equally nervous about altitude sickness. To be honest, there's probably entire lives where we've talked about altitude sickness.
Yeah, and exactly. There's so much information there about altitude sickness. Definitely go to our knowledge center, have a little look there on our website. That you and just type in altitude sickness. You've got a lot of information there. A lot of it is just facts, but Dave always talks about knowledge dispels fear.
Mm-hmm.
And I think just a little bit of kind of learning around altitude and how it's managed, and we get a lot of EverTrekkers who have been to altitude. I mean, I remember myself, the first time before I went to Everest Base Camp years ago, I had the same feelings. I was like, what am I going to be at altitude? Because I haven't been there before.
Mm-hmm.
My body be okay? I'm an asthmatic, so I was pretty concerned about it. But when you learn about it, and actually it's just walking, and you breathe the same. It's just obviously your body needs more oxygen, so it might breathe more. So especially when you're walking uphill, you're going to be overexerting yourself. So you just want to slow down. You want to make sure you're drinking plenty of water. There's things that you can do that'll help you acclimatize.
Yeah.
And we literally get thousands of people have the same feelings as you, but they're perfectly fine and get to places like Everest Base Camp.
Yeah. I think one good thing for you, Ruth, might be to go onto YouTube, scroll back and back and back and back, and you'll find an episode of the Tuesday Tune-In where we went to the Altitude Center.
Yep.
We've also had James from the Altitude Center on far more recently, where we talk a lot about altitude, what to do about it, and things like that. So honestly, it's nothing to be worried about, something to be aware of, but not panic about. And like Andy said, learn as much as you can. If you're still nervous, learn more, and then enjoy your trip.
But this is a challenge. Part of the challenge sometimes isn't about the actual doing of the trek, the trek itself and the challenge of the physicality. It's the mental side, and it's certainly when it comes to going to somewhere like Everest Base Camp, the mental side of, how am I going to deal with it? It's new, all that stuff is absolutely awesome. So when it comes to things like that, it's just processing all the information, making sure that, okay, I am prepared to put myself in this situation because it is a challenge. It is adventure travel. Things, don't always go right.
Yeah.
You're perfectly safe, but that it is travel. So certainly you got to be prepared for it. But absolutely you can do it. We'd love to help you on that journey.
Awesome.
Nice.
Leo has just said, I'm only 9.
Oh,
I didn't
right.
realise you were only 9.
I know.
But then I ticked
Thanks
them
for the
off.
£10.
Yeah, exactly. But you hike a lot in the Lake District and have just completed the 214 Wainwrights. Amazing,
Wow,
Leo.
that's amazing. For a 9-year. Brilliant.
I mean, considering he probably couldn't walk for at least the first 2.5 years, it's actually, and then fit enough to do it. So he's done that in a quick time frame.
I know.
Is that good enough training for Everest Base Camp? If you can complete 214 Wainwrights, I dare say you are fit enough to do Everest Base Camp, Leo. I mean, like we said, we normally like to take people who are like, a minimum of about 16, but judge every case on its merit. And I think
thanks to your dad.
yeah.
Awesome.
That's all right. Well, actually,
get your dad to go with you then.
Actually, Leo asked him to donate.
Nice.
Do you know what I mean? So I completed them in 9 months.
That's amazing. Fair dues in 9 months. Oh, that's absolutely brilliant. Well, look, I mean, you would be definitely one of the youngest EverTrekkers we've had, but certainly, definitely worth taking on something like Everest Base Camp. I mean, geez, we had a 12-year-old actually who took on Toubkal with his mum. Absolutely loved it, and now is into trekking. So I'd hate to say no, you can't do something like Everest Base Camp. It's certainly obviously with regards to travel and insurance, got to take an adult with you, which always helps. Absolutely, we'd love to help you.
No, I would.
Of Chris, why isn't he at school?
Well, because it's the Tuesday tune-in.
That's it.
Why?
It's important.
You know, and this is where Leo goes, why aren't you in work? You know, but no, honestly, yeah, I think normally we'd probably say 9 years old, is that old enough to do EBC? But actually, I think if you've done all 214 Wainwrights in 9 months, I would say that's a pretty good qualifier.
It's a very good qualifier.
So yeah, who are we? I mean,
it's a lot more Wainwrights than we've done, Dave.
I think it's about 213 more than I've done. You know,
fantastic. Well, yeah. Any other questions? I know someone did ask about Everest, didn't they?
It was Simon Knox.
Simon, good question.
He wants to know if we've summited Mount Everest.
Mate, we wish we were planning on it a few years back, but no, because we run EverTrek. We've been to Everest Base Camp many times. You know, so we focus on the trekking stuff. Obviously, the summiting. We'd love to one day, by the way. Certainly, but there's a lot of adventure in the Himalayas. Absolutely. Other than summited Everest, and a lot of the Yetis at EverTrek have done the trips. I mean, I've been to EBC 5 times. You've been 4 times. Mm-hmm. I know a lot of our Yetis who run EverTrek have done lots of the trips, like Machu Picchu, Kili, Toubkal, etc. Some of them going in the summer. TMB, is it? They're going.
Yeah, I think so.
TMB,
Yeah, TMB. Yeah.
Absolutely. So it's great. Yeah, we all do all the trips, and yeah, hence the reason why we love to answer these sort of questions. But yeah, Bryce saying there was a 7-year-old did EBC a couple of weeks ago. There we go, Leo. So you can definitely do it, mate. That'd be great. We'd definitely love to help you on your journey there. Right, Dave. I know coming towards the end. I know we've answered some questions, but around the top 5 treks, I felt like
I think really good one to talk about. I think actually because I often don't think of trekking in that in that way, you know, sort of if when you're forced to sort of grade them, and it's a bit of fun, but actually it was a good thought exercise because it can give you focus, you know, when you really do think about, do I want to tick off a legendary status, or do I want to experience an amazing view, or do I want to do something that's really difficult, or do I want to do something that speaks to me personally for whatever reason? And then having a look at those peaks and grading them, it's really interesting. I really enjoyed it. I think, and whatever your top 5 are, top 3 are, I think the most important thing is that you get out and do.
Well, this is it. Yeah, do any of them. Yeah, that's exactly what I was thinking. Like, I suppose we've come up with this list today, and it's great to see which ones are on your lists. And as long as you're out there doing treks, you'd absolutely be fantastic too.
Emily Cuffill's back.
Emily, how you doing?
She's
great to see you.
She's been on a long time.
She has. She's been busy.
If I remember right, Emily's the works with horses, right?
She is.
That's that one.
That's Emily.
That's Emily. Yeah.
Long time no see, Emily.
What's happening?
Good memory, Dave.
I don't know why, but I remember us talking about it before. Yeah. Welcome back to the fold, Emily.
I know.
Always welcome.
Good to see
no
you.
Explanation needed, of course. You can just come straight back in.
Driving snowplows. Oh, I bet that's fun.
That sounds like an amazing thing.
I know.
To do. Like Homer Simpson, he became Mr. Plow and Mr. Plow.
Really?
Yeah, in an episode he became Mr. Plow. Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Didn't know that.
Exactly.
You've clearly watched more Simpsons episodes than me.
At least one more.
At least. Exactly. Chris, do you run any Elbrus summit trips? Yeah, we used to. Yeah, unfortunately, with the troubles in Ukraine, we had to stop. Obviously, with Russia, because we ran them from that side. So yeah, unfortunately, at the moment they're kind of on hold. We had lots of EverTrekkers planning to summit that year.
No, it was a popular one right off the bat, but there's a gentleman in Russia that needs to sort of overall calm down a little bit.
Yes,
and then as soon as things settle down, we'll be in there as soon as it's safe, and we'll be taking EverTrekkers to the summit of Elbrus before this journey of ours is complete.
100%. Yeah. We'd love to. Obviously been a difficult couple of years, and we had to kind of postpone that.
Laptop.
It is. Yeah, it's like taking off.
I thought it was rain for a second.
that's the cooling fan.
That's the cooling fan.
It's clearly it's been on a while.
Yeah, clearly the laptop's like, whoa, you boys haven't talked this much in a long time.
But no, it's a good point. It's great to be back. We obviously we've both been away. It's great to talk about treks again. Great to see loads of familiar faces as well, and hopefully. If you can make any of those Ellis Brigham events, would be awesome. If not, no worries. We'll see you on the next Tuesday tune-in. But yeah, that's about it. I think. Any final thoughts?
I think I pretty much said everything I need to be honest with you. Welcome back, Emily.
Welcome back, Emily. Yeah.
Yeah.
And we'll catch you all again. I say we are typically we are away next week, but there's some of the other Yetis are on here next week, which is great. And I believe we've got a couple of the team from the Altitude Centre next week, which is great. Just chatting about Killy and other adventures. They came with us. So yeah, that's going to be a great live next week. And then we'll be back the following week. But yeah, other than that, have an awesome week.
Take it easy, guys.
Cheers, guys. Bye.